3 Russian Mi-31 fighter jets breached Estonian airspace, prompting a swift response from NATO forces. The jets were intercepted and forced to. The UN Security Council convened an emergency meeting to address the incursion, with global concerns mounting. Many nations condemned the violation of. The U.S. envoy to the UN pledged to defend every inch of NATO territory, underscoring the alliance's unwavering commitment. This strong statement. A Canadian expert suggested a correlation between reduced U.S. security aid and the increased Russian airspace incursions. This theory posits that decreased. NATO authorized the use of force against any Russian aircraft violating its airspace, escalating the situation further. This decision highlights the seriousness. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine intensifies, marked by a surge in deadly drone strikes targeting key infrastructure and civilian areas. Both. Diana Shipping Inc. announced a time charter contract for the M/V Leonidas PC with NYK, a significant deal in the global. This contract between Diana Shipping Inc. and NYK signifies a continued investment in the global shipping industry. The specifics of the agreement. Jerzy Tick, a Polish activist, died while fighting in the conflict zone in Ukraine, according to Russian officials. The circumstances surrounding his. Israel's missile strike on Doha, targeting Hamas negotiators, raised significant concerns about regional stability and international law. The strike prompted widespread condemnation. The UN General Assembly's focus on Palestinian state recognition reflects the ongoing geopolitical shifts in the region. The debate highlights the complex. NATO strongly warned Russia to immediately cease its escalating airspace violations near its eastern member states. Several incidents of Russian aircraft breaching NATO airspace have prompted a firm response from the alliance. NATO convened an emergency meeting to discuss the recent incursion of a Russian jet into Estonian airspace. NATO has directly blamed Russia for the repeated airspace violations, emphasizing their full responsibility. These airspace violations are viewed by NATO as an escalating and concerning pattern of Russian aggression. Following the incursion, Estonia requested an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council. The U.S. ambassador to the UN pledged to defend every inch of NATO territory against any aggression. NATO is exploring various response options to the repeated airspace violations, including military options. The airspace violations involved Russian Mi-31 fighter jets, capable of carrying hypersonic missiles. This is the third instance of Russian aircraft violating NATO airspace in the last month. These provocative actions have further heightened tensions between Russia and the NATO alliance. The Russian fighter jets were capable of carrying hypersonic missiles, a significant factor. The continued violations underscore the need for strong unity and decisive action within NATO. NATO's response aims to deter any future acts of aggression and ensure airspace security. One expert suggests a possible connection between recent U.S. security cuts in the Baltic region and the increased incursions. A Canadian expert on Russian military strategy has commented on the significance of these events. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine is seeing a significant escalation in drone warfare. Both sides are increasingly targeting energy facilities and civilian areas with drone attacks. The conflict demonstrates the ever-evolving nature of modern warfare, with new technologies playing a key role. Israel's recent missile strike on Doha has created significant tension and uncertainty in the region. The Israeli strike specifically targeted senior Hamas negotiators in Doha. The strike has the potential to significantly disrupt ongoing U.S.-mediated ceasefire negotiations. Israel's recent actions have raised significant questions about their overall strategy and objectives. The issue of Palestinian state recognition dominated the opening day of the UN General Assembly. France joined several other Western nations in formally recognizing a Palestinian state. The UN General Assembly is currently in session, addressing various global issues. A global security reporter provided an overview of the key developments and discussions at the UN. Diana Shipping Inc. announced a new time charter contract for the M/V Leonidas PC with NYK. Diana Shipping focuses on the ownership and chartering of dry bulk vessels. A Polish activist, Jerzy Tick, reportedly died while fighting in Ukraine. The deceased activist was known for his long-standing work in restoring Soviet war memorials in Poland. Russian officials announced the death of the Polish activist in the conflict zone. The activist's death took place in the active conflict zone in Ukraine. Channel News Asia, CNA, reported on NATO's stern warning to Russia concerning escalating airspace violations. Globe Newswire released a press release from Diana Shipping regarding their new charter contract. RT News published a report on the death of the Polish activist in Ukraine. The Conversation Africa published an article analyzing the implications of Russian airspace incursions into NATO territory. Spacewar.com reported on both the UN Security Council meeting and the statement by the U.S. envoy. CBC News explored a potential connection between recent U.S. security assistance cuts and the escalating Russian airspace violations. Natural News reported on NATO's vow to shoot down Russian aircraft and the escalating tensions in the conflict zone. Counterpunch published an article analyzing the implications of Israel's strike on Doha. RTE News reported on the focus on Palestinian state recognition during the first day of the UN General Assembly. These significant global events were extensively covered by various news outlets around the world.